Alright, hi, welcome you guys. Today we will be talking about parallel and perpendicular lines. Okay, there's no real big definitions. I mean, parallel and perpendicular lines, you guys already know. There are some theorems that you do need to know, like, for example, the theorem in the book 3.7. So if one line is parallel to another line, okay, we usually connotate these by arrows on them, so these two would be parallel. Okay, and a third line, and let's use a different color. Let's use red. There we go. All right, and a third line is parallel to that second line. Then these two are also parallel. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. Okay. All right, now I do want to talk about shorthand for perpendicular. I hate writing it out all the time. All right, so it's basically a capital T, okay, that has been turned upside down. Okay, so that's perpendicular right there, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so that's shorthand for it. Whereas if you wanted shorthand for parallel, it's just two straight up and down lines. So you could almost use the absolute value bars for that. Okay. Now another thing is too. Okay. Another thing that does pop up is what happens if we have two lines. Okay, how do we tell how they're related? Okay, if you can draw a line that goes through them and that line is perpendicular to both lines, okay, then these two lines are therefore parallel. Okay, and you could also say the reverse. If you have two parallel lines and you have a line that goes through them that is 90 degrees, then that line is perpendicular to both lines. So you could say the converse of it as well. So that's hugely important. Now, if you're trying to make, and just talking a little bit about construction, because I do need to start talking to you guys about construction and stuff. If you're trying to make a house or a frame, okay, the best way to know if your two sides are going to be parallel is to know that you're going to be making 90-degree angles. Okay, so if you know this is 90 degrees and this is 90 degrees, then you definitely know that these two top parts are parallel. And if you know this is 90 degrees and you know this is 90 degrees, and you do need to know all four, okay, then you do know that these, and I'm making a really weird arrow there, sorry. Usually to connotate the difference between them, you try to draw more than two or more than one arrow, you know, just working with it. Okay, let me see, other types of constructions. Now, if these angles are less than 90 degrees, you're definitely not dealing with parallel sides. So when you're working with actual construction, if you were to actually build a house, you would need to make sure that you're dealing with 90 degrees. It's the quickest and easiest way to check to see if something's parallel and stuff. So it's really kind of cool how it works. Let me see. Okay. Also, another cool thing is that if you're hanging a picture and you mark one spot and then you use a level and you mark another spot, okay, you know that these two are even with the ground. So it's parallel with the ground. Let's say that was the ground. You also know that if you hang that picture, if the picture is also parallel to the actual top part, you know that it's going to be parallel to the ground too. So that's how you kind of test to know if you're parallel with the ground. Okay, in other words, you have a level picture and stuff. I just like to use these as just reference points, these marks, the holes in the wall that you make to actually hang the picture. As long as I have those level, I'm able to actually have a level picture and stuff. Okay? All right, that is it for today on parallel lines and perpendicular. We'll talk more later. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.